Fuksa, and I have been bringing you guys entrepreneurs that I know or have met through other people that, either have just started or have been doing something for a really long time, have navigated through kind of crazy waters. All of us are navigating through some crazy stuff right now, as we all know. But so they can tell their story. One, so they can share their business with you, because I think that's really important in today's world. We just don't get that opportunity very often. But also to be able to share with you some hiccups or some successes and tips and tricks and things that maybe they've experienced. And so today I have an incredible pleasure and honor to introduce you to a guy that I've known for a long time, but really haven't got to know really well. And so I really can't wait for this interview as well. But this guy not only is in the entrepreneurial world and, just brings us all kinds of pleasure by what he does for a living, but he's also on the front line right now. And so I really want you guys to understand that and give him some love too, because I know we're all trying to do things and figure out ways to help the frontline people, but this is your opportunity to give Jeff a lot of love, because he certainly deserves it. He puts in a lot of hours. So it is my honor to introduce you to Jeff Duer. And so Jeff, please tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you, Connie. I'm kind of happy guy. Every day of the week I try to live a little longer than I did the previous day. So I guess we'll talk about the business. We can talk about myself all day long. We'll talk about the business thing. So I've been, everybody knows me as just Jeff the DJ. I've been doing this for like 34 years, and I'm only 29, so I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know why the math is like
perfect.
I wore my favorite shirt today. This was
Nice.
Probably part of my inspiration to get into DJing was the real music television, MTV. I remember that on VH channel. What that was it a VH1 or MTV anyway? But yeah, so I started in the basement as a disc jockey, spinning records, and for fun with high school, and it kicked off from there, and still going pretty strong.
That's exciting. That's exciting. So go back and tell us a little bit about you. Like, so you just really were into music when you were younger. And so you said, well, gosh, I want to do this. I want to do this and go do it for a living, earn some money at it, and, share my love with music with people. Tell us a little bit about that. You as a young person getting there.
It goes way back to when I lived in Pennsylvania. There was a radio jock on there that I can't even remember his name now, but I used to call in there and he'd let me do the weather forecast over the phone. It was kind of cool. He'd tell me what to say and I'd say it, and then it kind of started like that. Then we moved along and got back to Maryland, and I was 16 when we moved back to 15 when I moved back to Maryland. And my buddy and I, Tony, just started playing some music in his basement, big sound design stereo. And his sister Renata was getting married and didn't have a disc jockey, so we stepped up to the plate. So we'll do this. How bad can it be, right? So we did the Asphalt League in Hughesville, and we started this song. It was a Scorpion song, Big City Nights. It started out for the dinner song, and it was terrible. It was wow. It was bad. So we enjoyed it. We thought it was cool, and it worked out. We got things working out well. It wasn't showing that bad. So kind of like what we did there, we did some more work with a buddy named Greg. We were down in his basement spinning records. We had records back then. Some people don't know what records are. They're 33 and a third RPM.
Right?
Yeah, that's a real, or 40 or 45 RPM. That's our records we did back in the day. And the little inserts go in there. So I started that. We started doing more parties. We got into the wedding business then too. And then I branched off my own, got into some more disc jockeying and clubs and not really like nightlife type things, but parties at night. And then the club work came around. A lot of people remember me from Legends. It was 13 years at Legends of Waldorf when it was Legends. And that was a lot of fun. That's a long time to be at one place there, but I had a lot of fun there. I met a lot of people there. That was a really good time. So I just continue doing it now still.
Yeah, Legends was a bar that was very popular in Southern Maryland for a long time before a lot of other things came about. And that's interesting. I mean, I knew you were there, but I didn't realize you were there that long. When you first said 13 years, I thought you were going back to saying, oh, you did it when you were 13 years old. So I was going to say, well, you really bounced around there a lot.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. I got Mika on my lap right now. Say hi to Mika. She's trying to make her day.
Oh, hi, Mika.
She's they've been neglected. They were stayed home with the thunderstorm last night. Dad wasn't home, and they're all upset with me. So she has to get her 15 minutes of fame in too.
Totally, absolutely awesome.
We started at Legends. Well, I say we. I started Legends during happy hour. Just doing a trivia contest. I think during happy hour, we had little plates underneath the seats for people at random and give prizes away like that. And then Bobby didn't like what I was doing and asked me if I would open up what they called the 911 room which was designed for first responders, fire and EMS and police, in the back room. So a lot of stuff was donated for fire departments, turnout gear, helmets, tools. A guy from the sheriff's office came in and wired all the lights and sirens and stuff up. So we had like a fire hall almost, but we had music in there. And of course we had beverages too, which made everything even better. And so we started with the 911 room, and it took off incredibly fast. I didn't know it was gonna take off that fast. I had my DJ booth with a table across 2 top tables, and I set my gear on top of that, and we blasted out these PVS P5 speakers, which people know what the hell that means. But they're big speakers, they're old speakers, they're 80 pounds each. And we just tore that room up. And then we upgraded the room, and eventually we rotated jocks from one room to the other room, and out the front I went. It was a blast.
That is really cool. I never knew that. That is really neat. Well, and you obviously have an affinity for the 911. Tell us a bit about your other life.
Ooh. Well, I told you I was 29.
Come on.
True confessions, I'm not 29. I'm a little older than that. I've been a volunteer firefighter in the county for 40 years, soon to be 41 in June, and I'm currently a paramedic for the county as well, on the paid side.
God bless you. Thank you so much. That is, I mean, not just now. Obviously, now it's very heightened, and it's very scary to think that you have to go out there and take care of those kinds of things. But thank God that you're there to help people. And I can say for everybody watching, we truly appreciate that you sacrifice all of those things. I mean, more now, but all the time. I mean, being a firefighter is a scary job, and you never know what you're going to end up in. And so we truly appreciate you and really respect what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love it. Love it.
That's wonderful. Well, and so, that's the thing is, and as we're talking to people about these in this Entrepreneurial Live series, one of the things I want to share with people too is people are saying to me, well, I don't own a business, so I can't talk to you. And I really don't think that's true. I think that what I'm trying to share is what people do for their living, and ancillary living things, as you were, do the DJ thing. In addition to that, is things that they love to do, and you figure out how to just really exponentially change your life because you tap into the feelings of those kinds of things. And that's what I really wanted to share. So not only do you do that, so you did your EMS training not that long ago, right? You've been a firefighter for a long time and then branched into the EMS. Isn't that right?
Right. Well, yeah. That was I'm going to go 6 years ago. But about 6 years ago. Then I went full time after that. And now I pretty much dedicated myself to my career. I still am a volunteer in Waldorf. I don't actively participate like I should. Shame on me. But I keep pretty busy with the job and with the DJing as well too.
Yeah.
And I think you talked about the DJing thing is you got to like what you're doing, right? And if you like what you do, they say it doesn't feel like you're working a day in your life. Well, I love DJing. It's my getaway job. It gets me away from the hustle and bustle of every day. Allows me to go do this thing and make people happy and dance. And I can't think of a better way to see people being happy by dancing and enjoy themselves. And that's why I really get a charge off that. I mean, it's really fun to see that. I make it a point to make people dance, and they got to have a good time, or I'm not having a good time. And that's just no bueno then, no bueno at all.
So the other thing that I wanted to bring up is not only do you spin records, but you also choreograph how things are going to come together anymore. I mean, I saw it in action more recently at one of my kids' weddings. But you and your wife, Anita, you guys actually choreograph how things are going to happen through that wedding process, not just spinning the record. So tell us a little bit about that, because obviously you went from working as a DJ at a bar to making this business into more of a production that you do for people.
Right. And my kid is not cooperating here. It's
totally fine. It's totally fine. I love it. What makes life real.
Well, I've been DJing a long time. I've been doing weddings for a really long time. And honestly, I can't think of the best person to be poised to be able to coordinate a wedding reception would be your disc jockey. They're working 15 minutes ahead of what you're actually doing. They're looking at your timeline. They know what's going to happen next. And a responsible disc jockey is going to do that for you. He'll let your photographer know what's coming up before it actually happens. Work with the caterer, find out what time dinner is going to be done, and make sure champagne's poured. Little things like that make everything much better. I always tell everybody, we keep the circle small between a bridal party and so on and so forth. So if we do goof up, nobody knows but us, and we can fix that. And nobody knows but us because the circle's kept small. But with that going on, you try to relay information through some coordinators who aren't real skilled in this area. They lose the transmission between the client and the DJ, and things they come up to you. You got to play this right now because they're ready. Well, we could have avoided that, having coordinated this the right way, because right now doesn't work for disc jockeys because we got to take music and shove it to the side and put new stuff out. So coordinating, proper planning prevents problems, as we all know. So that's why I really take a lot of pride in doing that.
And you do it so well. And I think I really wanted to share that because seeing you in action doing that at our friend's wedding was just amazing, because I could see you guys shuffling around. And I mean, because I know you and I was paying attention, but it wasn't obvious. So let me point that out. But it was really interesting because I think when someone thinks about a DJ, they think about someone standing there spinning records and at a club or even at a wedding that, they don't understand those nuances either. So, what I really wanted to share about this is that at least the way you handle it is very much like a business and very much like a very scripted production, which is a very important part of, particularly in a wedding or any kind of ceremony kind of thing, that it's very important to make sure that those things are scripted.
It is. And I do EMCs too, MCs for banquets and stuff as well. And again, organization comes out there too. And it prevents a lot of problems and it eases the people involved because they're like, oh, what's going to happen next? Nobody wants to know what's going to happen next without knowing, because it's that, you can drop a surprise on me. Nobody likes that added pressure. And it just doesn't flow well at all. We do all this stuff, it's all coordinated beforehand. We get a timeline from the bride and groom, the same timeline the photographer has, the same one the caterer has. And we make sure everybody's on board about that. Check with the bride and groom before we do anything, in case she has to go put a garter on or he has to go do a shot with the guys, whatever it may be. We make sure everybody's on board before it's done. So it's supposed to go seamlessly. Right? A wedding, no such thing. Something's always happening in the background. Something's always happening.
But what's neat is that, and you prepare the people that you're working with that it's not going to happen seamlessly. It's just a fact of the production of that kind of an event, but that you're reassured them that enough about the timeline that you can maneuver things and you have the experience to be able to pull that off.
Right. Well, the one thing I don't tell them now, and we're going to give a secret out here, is we're on a timeline. It's not etched in stone, but I always carry 15, 20 minutes in my back left pocket. So if something does goof up, I can pull that time out there and use that. But they're not supposed to know that, though.
No, because they'll figure out how to use that time for you.
Oh, everybody will be getting shots then, and it'll mess up my whole time. But I always carry a spare. You've got to be flexible in this, because you've got people who are all excited, and they should be excited. They should really be excited. They just got married, for crying out loud. I mean, how much more fun is that can be? And they want to talk to their friends, and they want to talk to family, stuff like that. So if you have everything scripted out, nice and neat, they know you're going to come up and talk to them. You don't have to go up and grab them by the coat and say, hey, man, we got to do this. Just stand off to the side. They'll see you, and they'll know something's up. Then you say, hey, we're going to do this. You ready for this secret? This is my favorite secret.
There you go. You're not supposed to be telling your secrets, but I love it.
This is like number 2, right? I prefer that they do the cake cutting at the end. And the simple reason is I have seen some battles. I mean, outright war over people with cakes in their reception, throwing them, chasing around the reception hall. And it was about, I guess 2 years ago, the bride had her nails all done nice and neat. And she went to push the cake in her groom's face, and her nail caught him right there and cut his cheek. So had we done it before, early in the thing, he would have had this blemish here through the garter bouquet and all the other stuff that's done before the cake. But since we did it last, it was not able to be seen as bad. So it was kind of cool. That's the story I like using.
You scripting that stuff. That's awesome.
It's just years of experience, trial and tribulations, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, so do you do things just in your surrounding area, or do you travel out of your area to go to do these services for people?
I have gone as far west as Pittsburgh. I've gone as far south as Charleston, South Carolina, and all the way up into New Jersey. I can't go any further east than Ocean City. I tried, and the truck didn't float in so well. I'll go wherever it is. A lot of times there's families out there. I've done their daughters before and stuff. There's a family of mine I'm very, very fond of that we've done their daughters, all 3 of their daughters. And that's what we went to Charleston, South Carolina for. They asked us to do that. And that's fun. I like that because you keep the whole thing going. And all 3 of the daughters got married and did the same disc jockey. I mean, I was proud. I was very proud of that. It was very honorable.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you're also somebody who's very well known in the community in Southern Maryland too. So you probably have a lot of those kinds of connections with people because you've worked so many events and gotten to know so many different people, I'm sure. So tell us, because obviously it's a business, you don't have the same kind of business maybe concerns, nuances that businesses that have several employees do or need to have office space and those kinds of things. But tell us maybe some of the hiccups that you've gone through as your business has grown and experiencing changes so that somebody else maybe in a similar kind of situation could understand that these kind of things happen and it's okay. And here's how we got through it.
Um, wow, that's a lot of question right there.
Like growing pains. I mean, like obviously you were spinning records in your buddy's basement kind of thing, and then you went to work at a bar and had this huge success. Obviously, you went through some growing pains there. So talk to us
Technology,
about that and going into the wedding side.
technology came up fast. We were on, I mean, one year I was spinning records, 33 and third and 45 RPMs. I didn't do these 78s. No, they're real super fast. But next thing you know, then we're into CDs. And we had a cassette transition there too, which was really terrible trying to set the cassette tape. And then for CDs, we're in computers. Now I had to take my mind as a hand-on guy to look at my CDs and go through them and figure out it triggers my mind, what songs on there to do that. Now I got to type it in a song on a computer. And it was just really hard to make that transition from CDs to technology because everything was stored in a terabyte.
Yeah.
So everything's stored. All my 8 cases of CDs are all now right in here. And it was hard. It was hard to do that because I didn't have a catalog to reference to. But once you get into it, I can't imagine going back to the CDs. I mean, I could do it, but I can't imagine doing that now because with technology like this, I have so much music, and it's so easy to grab it off the internet with the proper DJ pools that you belong to. I belong to 3 different DJ pools.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Wow, there's so much to cover with this. Finding another jock to work with you is probably one of the hardest things to do.
Interesting.
I like working myself. I know what my expectations are, and they're high, and I expect that. And if they can't meet that, then I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's something that they need to work on. People hire you to do a wedding, and you don't get a redo. You don't get a redo. You got to do it right, and you got to do it right the first time, and you have to honor what they want. And it's very important that their wishes are met. And if you can't do that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But,
this is really interesting because I think a lot of people think of maybe the disc jockey as like, one of the pieces of the wedding, but not such as much the choreographer and the person that, makes sure that all of the pieces are coming together. And you obviously take such pleasure and pride in making sure that that's happening in no matter what you're doing here. And I know I've seen you do it at events as well. And that's clearly your passion is in that, making sure that, all of those things are going smoothly. So when you had to transition, because this is a really interesting thing, when we talk to entrepreneurs, you're talking about, a lot of times you're talking about people learning to better their craft, but you really had to like drop and discover when you went from the change from spinning records to go into cassettes to go into CDs to then go into everything being on the computer. Wow. I mean, there probably really wasn't a whole lot of area for you to study to understand these changes. You had to really land on discover.
I became a master of the hunt and peck method with typing. It has, the hunt and peck thing came down. I mean, it never really was good typing. I'm good now, but the learning curve was definitely there. It was there. And the music sounded so much better too. With the higher quality frequencies and stuff that came off CDs into computers, the quality sounded a lot better, and it was cool. But once I accepted the fact that we're going to do computers and get away from the CDs, that was a big thing. Now I lost my security blanket with my CDs being with me. Now I have to rely on this computer. And back in the day, the laptops weren't as strong as they are now. We had to do home PC, so we're carrying this PC around here, PC around there, and set up like a little home.
Oh, interesting. That's right.
But now I see some people over here on the chat box. I got to call them out on this one because they're getting away with it and they think they are. They're ragging on my Steelers poster over here. This thing right here. They're ragging. Are they? They're saying it must be out of Baltimore. I don't know Baltimore. I see you, Joe.
Oh God,
that's
funny.
Yeah, and then Roy Howdy down there talking about calling me an old man. Oh my God. I couldn't let him get away with that, Connie. I just couldn't do it. taking
You
notes.
absolutely can. If you can see it, you can talk to him about it. See, unfortunately, I have to have my glasses on to see that. So I usually go back and answer questions afterwards. But if you're seeing what they're writing and they're talking about you, you
Oh,
should.
I'm
That's
seeing it.
live, real time.
I'm seeing it and I'm taking notes. Yep.
There you go.
Writing your
Yeah,
names down.
people need
Christmas
you.
is coming up.
That's awesome. Well, so what I love about this conversation is exactly what we're getting into. That you ran into some hurdles, you figured out how to change them because ultimately this is the stuff you really love to do, and no matter what, you were still going to do it. You just had to figure out how to do it. So, how did you start doing weddings out of the bar nightclub scene? Was it because you were meeting people and they said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Or did you have to actually go out and do some marketing and try to connect with people and say, "Hey, I can do this. Let me land on it and try to figure it out."
I did. I'll put her name out there. Kimberly Bean was real good with the Southern Maryland wedding guide, I believe she had, and we did some.
Yeah, we just interviewed Kimberly last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very instrumental in helping me do this too. And I had done a lot of weddings inside the club off hours with like come on, you get hold on, kids acting up again. Come on. Would you stop, please? You don't want to be on TV. You didn't brush your teeth, I can tell. So I did weddings before the clubs, and I liked weddings because some people shy away from them. They don't like talking to people. They don't like being in the middle of the crowds where, okay, I'll do that. To me, it's easier because everything's laid out. What you want done. Lost my train of thought there, but
transitioning from working at the bar, working at a restaurant or a nightclub to going to weddings. So that was mostly because you had a good connection with Kimberly and she started connecting you as she was doing that Southern Maryland weddings.
Right. Absolutely.
And see, guys, this is exactly what we talk about with networking and mentoring. And when you want to do something or you want to work in a particular area, you can't be afraid to ask people for help, and we've talked about this over and over again, but Jeff's bringing it again here is asking people that you trust and you respect for their thoughts, their help, there may be some direction. And obviously you and Kimberly connecting was a really good connection for you, probably for her as well.
Yeah, we did a lot of work together, a lot. Yes. Kimberly's been doing this a long time too. She's got great connections and she knows her business. And that's what makes the difference is knowing your business. She knows her market. I know my market, and that really helps out a lot.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So if you had to pick one question that people ask you most often when they find out this is what your specialty is, what is that? What is that question that people just don't know about you or what you do?
Oh, I don't know, but I'm going to ask you another question. I want to know.
It's so fun.
Joe wants to know this too. I see him over there in the sidebar. You spend a lot of money on your wedding. A lot, $26, $30 a plate. And you spend a lot of money for a photographer. But then I don't understand why the disc jockey is expected to be next to nothing. It doesn't make sense.
Well, so here's exactly why doing these interviews matter, because I love being able to point out the fact that you do a whole lot more than stand in the corner and turn on music that they say, hey, play this song. Hey, play this song. It's so much more than that. And particularly in your expertise in the scripting and choreography of the whole event, people understanding that there's so much more to it. And, that's one thing that I like to do, that I do through my coaching business is help business owners understand how to convey their value to people. And this is exactly why I ask the question about, what do people ask you? Because I think you asking that question is a direct result of what people don't know, and why I ask that question and get entrepreneurs to answer, hey, this is what people ask me. That's what you should be talking about, is the things that people don't understand about your value. So not just that you have those experiences, but also all of the pieces that you bring with it, the many things that we've brought up. I think it's really important for people to understand that it's not about cousin Joey standing in the corner just spinning records or picking music off the internet that's downloaded, that's not free music, that's from Apple Music or Spotify or whatever. You have professional music that doesn't accidentally have profanity or commercials or any number.
Don't go that far with the profanity.
Well, that's a choice. It's a choice. I should say surprise profanity. That somebody would.
Yeah. There's some songs that wouldn't exist without profanity. So.
Well, exactly. But you know what I mean? That that song that you didn't expect you had at your wedding, and they played it, because they didn't have a professional person doing that job. So I think in answer to your question, my personal thought would be, especially after seeing you in action the several times that I have, very professional, very choreographed, very obvious to somebody that was just more paying attention, not that you were outspoken in the choreography, but I just found it very interesting that I could see that you guys were very much had your hands on what was going on, so to make sure it was running smoothly.
Connie, I lost your mic.
Oh my!
Yeah, you went.
That's weird.
You lost your audio.
Totally, you can't hear me. Oh.
So I'm going to fill in how you try to figure that out. I see you laughing over there. I just can't hear you all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the thing that people need to be aware of this, the disc jockeys out here, the professional ones, we spent a lot of money on our gear, and we have our gears insured. And you can have a disc jockey that just starts out and has access to the internet and has an okay sound system, or it can be a very elaborate sound system. But the experience that they have to bring to your party is where it's going to make it or break it. I call those people who just grab music off the internet just to be playing it. I call them human jukeboxes. They will not do a gig without a long list of songs. I ask for like 5 or 6 songs. That's it. And the rest of the stuff I'm going to be reading people. How do you read people? I have no idea. I can't explain that. But little subtle things like the tapping their finger on the table. Maybe they're moving their foot. Little subtle things like that. Are you back online, Connie?
I'm back online. Can you hear me? Everybody else can hear me, but you can hear me. That's crazy.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You can hear me though, right?
I can hear you.
Oh, damn.
That's really strange.
Center of attention again. Jeez.
Well, everybody can hear me except you. That's strange. I don't know why. Weird.
I don't know.
Let me see.
Joe, you still on there? Can you hear her? Roy, can you hear Connie? Roy made a good point, man. Everybody has to work as a team. And thank you, Nicole. Yes, DJing takes a lot of work. Can y'all hear Connie talking?
Can you guys hear me? This is really strange. Let me see if.
Connie.
Yeah, this is really strange. It was working fine, and now it's not. Huh.
It's saying you keep locking up.
Oh, that's really weird. Can you guys hear me right now? I can hear both.
Todd says he can hear both of us.
Yeah, that's really strange.
Says you can hear both of us.
The reason you can't hear me is odd. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up, and it's obviously Jeff can't hear me. I'm going to go ahead and finish and say thank you so much for being on, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this. There's lots of great things that Jeff had to offer, and so I'm going to wrap us up by saying, I appreciate your time. If you guys want more information, I'm going to get Jeff to
call you.
That's a good idea.
I think.
I'm not sure that'll work, but we'll see if that works.
Ring, ring.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's going to echo on the thing. That's a good idea, but everybody else says they can hear me, so it's really strange that it cut off for some reason.
Yeah, you must cut your mic off.
I didn't touch anything, which is really strange.
See, now this is a great example of what can happen.
Exactly.
A great example.
Technology.
So that's why I said I'll just give you a call.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great idea. And I'm glad you thought of it. See, you're the DJ. You're a professional at this. I didn't even think about that. So good stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. And, the one thing that I think we were finishing up with by saying, you being able to share with people the value that you bring to the table is so very important, because you do bring so much value to your particular industry and your business. And people need to understand that there is very much a difference between what you do and what Cousin Eddie's going to do in the corner. So I really appreciate
a good price.
Yeah. Well, and
a
fair price for you and for them. I mean, your value is based on what you bring to the experience. And so, having those kind of referrals and people sharing that information with people that don't know you, I think is crucial as well. So
I price competitively to the market. And I don't go over top, but I was actually below middle average.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, I can't thank you enough for being on here. You have been so much fun, but also sharing with us so many things that we didn't really understand. And, you know, again, talking about that entrepreneurial spirit and the fact that, you know, you just learned how to navigate through all these different nuances, and people who are trying to struggle through their business right now can understand that it happens to everyone. It may be different. The experience may be different, but the nuance of the problems happen to everybody.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your time. Thank you again for
Thank you for having me on.
You are. We all truly appreciate everything that you're doing too. So you guys take care. Give your pup a kiss for all of us. And Jeff, can you share your contact information in the comments so that way everybody can see, if they want to get in touch with you, they have questions, they know exactly how to find you?
Yeah, no problem at all. Type it right up in there.
That'd be great. And then guys, tomorrow I will reshare the link of our video so that Jeff can share it on his page. He can share it wherever he wants to so everybody else can see it. And then I'll have it on there again if you guys want to share it with anybody else. And I truly appreciate your time today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me on. I do appreciate it, Connie.
All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Again, remember at 2 o'clock, I have another interview scheduled with a lady who's a wedding photographer. Fantastic, really interesting lady that I think you guys will absolutely love talking to. So check that out at 2 o'clock. Her name is Cynthia. And Jeff, thanks again. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye-bye.